and welcome back to Hammond's Upholstery. It's not a bad day here. We've had something very interesting just pull up in front of me. I'll spin the camera around and show you that as we walk through the workshop and see what's going on. Look at that. How's that for you? Don't see them every day. Anyway, he's a colleague, friend, popped in for a chat, I think. So what we've got going on here, we've got some garden furniture to be done there. There's the fabric samples on top. Still got this antique chair and stool, and I'm currently just about to start these set of 6 dining chairs. So it's quite a lot of work there in them, but first off we need to rip them up and get one of the covers cut into patterns. So let's crack on with that. First of all though, the kettle on, it's time for a cup of tea, and we'll get on with ripping these chairs up. So back shortly. Okay, so the chairs are stripped now. They're all there, 6 of them stacked up, relatively quick to strip. And here's the fabrics. So this part is the inside back, outside back, and the seat is here. I've just got to split the seam on this so I can use this as a template. So I'm just waiting for the fabric for that to come in. That should be in shortly. Got some stools there to do. Oh, there's the sides, the arms. Make sure that all stays together. So what I'm on with at the moment is this. This is the seat part of a very large sofa. There's the 2 L pieces, so they join together to make the arms and the back of the sofa, and this is the seat on it. So customers had this, I think she said about 12 years. It's done really well. They're very happy with it. The cushion fill is over there for the seat. I'm waiting for a replacement foam core, because with this particular style of cushion we can replace just the foam core, as the feather jacket is okay. It's losing a few feathers for it, but it's certainly serviceable, and replacing the foam core for a denser foam core is going to firm that up. And the cover is being changed here for this fabric here, almost like a carbon effect to it. We've got to modify the sofa. This will be quite an interesting one. This is the back here, so that's the back, and the sofa goes up against a radiator in the room. So the radiator pushes the sofa about 6 inches out into the room, and of course the sofa is also restricting the heat from the radiator. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out and modify the back of this to go around the radiator and leave a adequate air gap there, as they don't want to change the layout of the room. They don't want to start moving rads and so on. So we're going to modify this sofa, which is basically cubes put together. And the seat, it had a lot of webs in there. It was certainly very well webbed with elastic webbing, but because of the expanse of it, eventually they've gone stretched, and they're going to do that anyway over the amount of time the customers had the sofa. But there was no shortage of elastic webbing in it. That's all stripped out there in the bin. So but the customer wants to have a solid board put on here. So we're going to get a piece of 18mm ply glue and fix that to the top of this. Yes, it will detract a little bit of the softness from it, but with the cushion feel that's going in it, I don't see much of an issue. It's going to feel firmer seat, but it's going to feel firmer seat anyway, because we're replacing the webbing Anyway, so the difference that is neglectable, I think is the word, but what it does give is a seat where kids stand on or walk across, and it gets a lot of usage. It's big enough to be used as a bed when they've got guests between the arms. So yeah, it's I'm not sure. I'll withhold judgment. I think it's going to be okay because of the cushion that we're putting on it. If we were putting a firm foam cushion on top of it as well, then it would be very firm and feel like bench seating. But with the foam and feather cushion feel that's going on it, I think it's going to feel absolutely fine. And this is going to be a lot more durable than having it webbed or even spring potentially. So I'm on with that in the meantime, whilst the fabric is coming to me for the dining chairs here. This is as far as I can get with this seat. I need to get to the timber merchants and get the 18mm ply, but in the meantime I will get the back out, get it set up so you can see what I'm on about, and we need to strip the cover off, then we can mark the back where we need to cut it, do the modifications. So we're going to crack on with that. So we'll be back shortly once it's on the floor, and we can strip, once the cover is stripped off it and it's on the floor, and we can look at modifying the back. So we'll be back to show you how we're going to do that. Okay, so we've got the drawing that have been supplied, and the measurement from this corner here to the beginning of the radiator is apparently 33 inches, which is where that mark is there, and that's that 33 here. And then they're saying they need a 64-inch gap or piece cut out of the back of the sofa. Unfortunately, we don't have 64 inches to the end here from that mark, so we can just about see it's 64 to the end. So I'm thinking there may be an error going on here, so come to a stop. Need to check with the customer to make sure that this is correct. I think the measurement from the corner or this end of the wall here, this end of the wall here at 33 inches, I think that is potentially wrong. I don't like to go back to customers at this point and say, well, is you sure your measurement's right? Because you said you wanted a piece taken out of this sofa, and well, yeah, it's a bit more than that. So anyway, that means I've come to a stop on that until I speak to the customer. So in the meantime, we're going to be back on with these dining chairs whilst I'm waiting. I've got the cover now, that's arrived fortunately, so I can get on with cutting that and sewing that in the meantime. Once I confirm these, I'll come back to you either with me cutting a lump out of this sofa or me putting covers on these dining chairs. Fingers crossed it's the sofa because it's quite big and I want it out of here. So fingers crossed, like I say, the customer gets back to me with this measurement and then I can crack on with this sofa. Okay, so measurements have been confirmed for this seating. So let's spin you around and show you what I mean. So the 33 inches has been confirmed from this corner to clear the thermostatic valve on the radiator, and then right the way across we've got to cut all this portion out and remake the corner back here because the radiator just comes past the back of the sofa there. So there you go. So we've got to cut that out. It means that these bolts here are gonna have to be moved in closer because we are basically going to be losing, let's see if I can show you, there you go, nearly 6 inches off the top, the base can stay, like I said, because that's going goes underneath the radiator, so that's not going to get in the way. But all this has got to come off here, so we'll probably have to make some sort of fixing plate from here to here, unless there is enough meat here to be able to get these bolts back through here, which it should be just about. So I need to get my saw out and cut this. I've peeled the Lux Bond back so I can put that back over the edge, but there shouldn't be any sharp edges. So let's get chopping. Okay, now let's show you this. This has now been modified to go around the radiator as such. I haven't bolted it together yet because I wanted to see what we've had to do. So we've had to cut this piece of timber out and the corner. We've had to relocate the corner of the sofa. I've put some hardwood in here, so these 2 points bolt together. They're hardwood, so they should be as strong as they can be. We've left this here, the base plate, because that's the stability with the back. Once it's bolted together, it's not going to go anywhere. The Lux Bond will get pulled over these edges before we cover it. So there you have it. And then we've got the seat. Right, so this is the seat with the foam pulled back over on it, and it's now got a 18mm plywood seat in it, so that's not going to go anywhere. The holes are in it so that it allows the foam to breathe. So there you go. The plywood needed a little bit of scribing doing to get it to fit, because the frame is slightly twisted over the years it's been together. So there you go. That's the seat ready for upholstery. Straightforward. Top cover over that, and then we've got the seating. A little bit more complicated, but it should be straightforward enough. So I'm just going to bolt it together and check that it bolts together. Right, there you have it with the bolts through. I haven't done the bolts up tight, but you get the idea. By the time that's covered, it will bolt together back again. The sofa will be back in its 2 pieces. So I need to get on with upholstering it now. It's not uncommon, but it's also not a regular thing. People get asked to modify sofas to such a degree. At the moment it looks pretty much like bench seating, but by the time it's done, it certainly won't. It'll be a lovely sofa. But let's get this covered, and hopefully it won't be too long before we can get this into the property and we can show you it finished. But I will come back to you once it's covered and ready to be delivered. Unfortunately, we can't show you it finished here in the workshop because the cushion covers at the customers, they're keeping their original seat covers, i.e. the loose cushions. They're just having them laundered because there's nothing wrong with them except for, you know, grubby. That's it. So I'll get on with covering this and we'll be back to you soon. Right, as you can see, I've done 5 out of the 6 dining chairs, so you can join me with the last dining chair. The compressor's just finished going off, so let's get on with doing the final chair so we can get back to the customer ASAP. So with these dining chairs, to create this roll at the top, this particular company has stapled the salvage, which I will show you in a second. Depending on the companies, have different ideas how to do it. Some don't worry about it at all. Some use Velcro, but this particular one is stapling salvage. So I pulled the back over. Just need to put the last of the staples across here, and then I can finish pulling the back down onto the chair. So let's get these staples along here. It's a bit tight on the fingers, pull that through, but okay. So that's just stapled along there, and I can put it back on the floor and continue pulling the back down. I'll try to do it on the trestle so you can see, but this is easier to do on the floor normally. Put it down a bit at a time because it's quite tight. And I want to make sure the salvage is on the right edge. It's got tension in it. Right the way down to the bottom of the inside back. And now I've got to get this fly, as we call it, push through the back, through the seat. So you can see what's going on. So that's the fly pulled through the seat. So the fly creates a tension on the inside back and the back half of the seat. So I'll pull that off in a bit once I've got this seat cover on again. Making sure that the fly, the welt is in the right place. So it's just going to hold the front of the seat in, put the staples in there. So now I'll pull the fly off at the back to create the tension in the back of the seat and the tension on the lower part of the back. so it doesn't get in my way. So pull down. Right, so now I can start making the cuts around the legs, forelegs, the fabric, and finish it off. So if I can get in a position where you can see what's going on. Check the work was pulled in the right direction, all in the centre of the seat. A couple of staples hold that in there. I'm going to make my cuts diagonally. This is where we need to fold it, so I'll go from this edge towards here on both edges. We will put a little bit of extra Lux Bond in here to try and eliminate as much of that pivot there. So this folds up in itself. Just thinking to myself, how do you put this into words? It is quite difficult to explain. It is a very visual thing, and you just do it. When you're trying to train somebody, it's very hands-on. Trying to put it into descriptive words is quite difficult. I'm sure you'll gather it. Right, so that's the back edge done. Quick and simple as that. Very similar with the front edge. Now, side down. Same with the other side now. Sorry I got my back to you, but I'll do my best to show you. side getting their bottom cloth to do. All this all off around the bottom, nice and tight. Bottom cloth time. Centre at front, fold back, staples, 3 staples. Cut off some of this out, like that. Do that. Fold, tension, sides, fold, tension, centre. Around the back leg, cut single cut and fold the fabric. So whilst I'm doing this, I'll explain to you why manufacturers can produce these quickly and cheaply compared to having them reupholstered. As a manufacturer, they will have templates for everything. Patterns for the fabric, patterns for the foam, patterns for even for this bottom cloth that I'm putting on now. The springs will be cut to length. The canvas, if they put canvas on there, will be cut to size. Everything is done on mass production scale. Thousands of these go out of the manufacturers. As a reupholsterer, each one of these chairs for different customers can be a different design, done in a different way. So each time I pick up a set of chairs, I have to go through the same process of stripping the cover off to use it as a template for the top cover. Same with the foam, if you replace the mats and everything else. I don't have templates, but there are thousands of manufacturers. Customers possibly couldn't even tell me who the manufacturer was anyway. They might know where they bought it from, they won't know where they bought it from. So it's the first time of seeing it for me, and I have to, the longest part is the prep. It's the taking the cover off, splitting the cover to use it for templates, and then cutting and sewing the items together. As you see, the actual covering of it, once the foam and everything on there, it's It's relatively straightforward and quick. But to do that, it's a whole thing you're paying for. So that's where the time comes in, having stuff reupholstered, and the cost is the labour cost and the time. Anyway, so the manufacturers, it's a lot easier for them to do it because they're doing the one chair, the one design, they're sending 1,000 of them out. If I was to do 1,000 of these now, I could reduce my costs. And the materials they tend to use, these manufacturers, cost managed. When I used to work for another company, we would do the prototypes and we'd produce the chair, it would look lovely, and then they'd come back to us and say we need to get the costs down by as little as £2, £3, dollars, whatever. And to do that, we'd have to go back to the foam manufacturers that supplied us with the foam pack for it, which was made to size, and we say we need to reduce the cost. Can you do us a better price on the foam? And quite often they say, no, we can't do you a better price on the foam, but we can reduce the quality of the foam. And it's not always as simple as that. It can be density that reduces the costs and so on. So by the time you've done the prototype and put it against the production one that goes out, that's had to meet a cost to be profitable for the retailer to purchase it, it's a very different chair. So bear that in mind. You might see two chairs that look identical to each other, but if one's a lot more than the other, it's not necessarily always the case that somebody's trying to make more money out of you. The materials that are used could be far superior, and it could have something as simple as canvas on the seats, whereas the other manufacturer's not produced it. So it is very difficult purchasing new furniture. It is a bit of a gamble. I understand that, but general rule of thumb, spend as much as you can on your furniture, and hopefully you've got a decent quality piece of furniture. So anyway, that's these 6 done. There you go, in a very light fabric in cream, which shows up everything. It was originally in the black leather. That's the black leather. Now gone for cream vinyl. Tell me what you think in your comments. Would you have gone to have them redone in black, or would you have gone for the cream? Be interesting to see what people's thoughts are. Anyway, so that's these chairs done, ready to go back. Okay, so that's the covers cut and machined for this. As you can see here, we're going around the radiator here. We've got to cover the outside arms, which is this area, and the same on the other side. The back, this is the back when it's bolted together, is being left open for airflow purposes for the radiator, etc. Because this is going to be sitting directly in front of the rad with about an inch air gap between the sofa here and the rad. So we don't want to block the heat if we can help it, but needs must in this situation. So I need to fire up the staple gun, make a cup of tea, and get on with stapling these inside backs off, and then do the outside arms, and then we can get it delivered back to the customer. So hello, that haircut, needed it. Sorry about the continuity, as you can tell, this next day. So I'll get that stapled on and ready to go back to the customer. we're expecting the cushion fill to turn up today. I hope it does, because that needs to go back as well. And I'll try and get a picture of the sofa in situ in the customer's house once it's all done, because unfortunately I don't have everything here. The covers for the cushions, like I've said previously, the customer's having them laundered. So let's put the camera in its stand and get this upholstered. Okay, so that's both parts done now, bolted together. Just check everything fits together okay. The seat's obviously not in, as I said previously. The seat will be installed when it's on site, but there you go, you can get the idea of it. The seat has a big cushion on it, which the fill is over here, or part of the fill. We're just waiting for the replacement foam core to go in that. There's the seat base itself with the 18mm hardwood board in it now. And here's the back. So there's one end of the arm. That end of the arm goes up against the wall, but we've just covered it anyway because there's plug sockets and so on down on that wall. So it's not actually up against the wall, it's about 6 inches away. The back is left open for airflow for the radiator, and you get the idea where the radiator sits now, I'm sure. The radiator starts off here. Sorry, it starts off here and goes right the way through and past, just about past the end of the arm. This outside arm is seen if the lounge door is closed, so that's why that's covered. But once the rad's in, you're not going to see any of that, because obviously the radiator's taller than the back of the sofa. So there you have it. I will attach a picture of it once it's in the customer's property. Unfortunately, I can't finish it here, but there you go. So that's a little different from what we normally do. It's a bit of a crossover, as far as I'm concerned, from contract seating to domestic seating, but it's a very robust sofa. It will take kids running along it, jumping on it, etc. The fabric is a as far as I'm aware, it's a car seating fabric, so it's going to be extremely durable. Meets all fire regulations, just in case anybody wonders about that. In fact, it exceeds domestic and meets Grid 5, so no qualms with that. So as always, these videos are meant to be entertainment, just show you what we're doing here in the workshop, and this week it's been something a little bit different. I hope you enjoy them. I will attach a video, possibly a short video on the end of this, of the sofa in the customer's property. Hopefully they've got their radiator fitted so we can do that. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe, and you know where we are if you need us. Thanks again. Bye bye.